Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Marduna, this is my mom Gina.
He is the journalist.
She's the enthusiast.
I am enthusiastic because it seems like there's a lot of sports going on.
Yeah,
I know there's big stories, but there's lots of sports going on
right now we're kind of in that time frame where you've got the Australian Open, you've got the NHL Finals, or I said, yeah, the French Open, excuse me, yeah, you got the French Open in tennis, you got the NHL Finals, you got the College World Series for the men's, you got the College World Series for the women's, and then you've got the NBA Finals taking place.
And then football OTA'S are going on.
Correct, you got in the NFL all the OTA'S that are taking place. This is the third week, you get 3 weeks of OTA'S.
Oh, you
and
do?
This is the third week, the final week, and then you have mandatory minicamp coming up. So basically every sport is in full swing, and then you do have the NBA draft coming up as well. So there's a lot to talk about. And we're going to do our week in sports news update. Let's start with the NHL because last night was an exciting game for the Predators as they were at home trying to defend home court. They got to go to Pittsburgh and try to steal one from them. They evened up the series. It is now 2-2. And a lot of people are rooting for the Predators right now. It's a fun franchise. Yeah, it's a fun franchise.
For the Predators.
I work with somebody at my station that is from Nashville, and he is a huge Predators fan, and so he was all in watching the game last night, and he was really excited. So it's
proximity-wise,
awesome.
Kansas City's closer to Nashville than it is to Pittsburgh.
Right,
so you got
exactly.
The Pittsburgh Penguins and the Nashville Predators. So
right, so yeah.
And they're an expansion team.
They are an expansion team.
They haven't been around that long.
Bridgestone Arena, exactly.
Yeah, for them to be in the Stanley Cup.
And I was in Nashville in January, and so I got to walk past the arena, and so there were a lot of Predators signs and things like that. So that was really fun to be able to be around there. Okay, so I'm going to
just totally do a mom thing here.
Okay.
They have the better mascot.
They do.
And I get it, you know, penguins and ice, I get it, but the penguins, he's really a cute little penguin. That's really cute.
Well, and the Penguins tend to be in the finals almost every year. They're really good.
And I don't mean any disrespect to the Penguins.
But yeah, as far as the mascot.
But that Predator mascot is pretty bad business, to be honest with you.
Right. Well, the Penguins took the first, the Penguins.
They won the first game 5-3.
Right, won the first game, and then they won the second game. They took the first two, and then the Predators came and won the last two. So they tied up the series, and so now they got to go back to Pittsburgh and hopefully steal one from them now. Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
So it's basically a best 2 out of 3 now. There's 3 games left. Someone's got to win 2 out of those 3 games.
Correct.
And the advantage, really, if you're thinking about holding home ice or home court, goes to the Penguins because they have 2 of the last 3 games.
So we'll see what happens.
And I feel like those were pretty high-scoring games.
They are.
The first game was 5-1. Penguins. The next game was 4-1 or 5-3. The first game 4-1. And those were both for the Penguins.
Yes, the Penguins won those first 2 games, and generally it's kind of like in baseball. If you're scoring over 3 runs, it's pretty high scoring. And just same thing with hockey or soccer, where there's a goal situation or limited runs. If you're getting over 3 runs or goals or points or whatever, that's pretty good.
Well, it is. It's the same thing for football. It's just that football's scored by 7 points. Right. But it's really, you're only going to get 3 or 4 touchdowns in a game. If you're scoring 3 different times, that's pretty good. Absolutely. So. Well, and then the last games, just in fairness to the Predators, they won 5-1 and then 4-1 respectively.
Right. So
these have been, they've been getting in there.
Exactly. Yeah. And so the goals have been pretty high scoring, which is good.
Well, the NBA Finals, it's 2-0 for the Golden State Warriors.
Yes.
But we're going to talk about that later. But, you know, there are some other finals going on, right? It's kind of final season.
It is kind of final season. And that's kind of what our trend is here as we kind of transition to college. We're talking about the College World Series. We're talking about the Super Regionals now with Missouri State and Arkansas.
Oh, my gosh.
This is not so much to do with the advancement, but it more has to do with the length of the game. And we've talked about this numerous times about the extra innings and how the game gets prolonged if the game is at a standstill within the score. You just keep playing until somebody finally breaks the runs. They don't let you end
in a tie.
Right, and so you just keep going. It was 17 innings, which is, excuse me, it was
a 6-hour game.
6-hour game, yeah. The softball game that we're going to talk about, Oklahoma versus Florida, went to 17 innings. And that was tied at 2-2 for a very long time.
Crazy.
And so with softball and baseball, it's basically the exact same thing. They just go to extra innings until someone finally just scores more runs than the other team does. And so you just keep going and going and going.
And I know there's a lot of updates to get to, but let's sit here for a second.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about baseball. It was a double elimination thing, Arkansas versus Missouri State. Arkansas needed to win that game to not be eliminated because, you know, Missouri State already gotten one up on them. The game had a rain delay. They come back, and it's pouring. They're ready to pull the tarps out. The Arkansas coach told them, you're not pulling these tarps out. We're finishing this game. It went till 3:10 in the morning.
Wow.
And ended up being 11-10 with Arkansas winning. The Missouri State coach is like, I don't think these games should be decided over 6 hours in the rain.
Yeah.
That's not real baseball. So he said, it's just slop. It's like whoever slides across the base wins. I mean, it was a pouring downpour.
Didn't make any sense.
And then it was like, who is playing baseball at 3 in the morning?
Can't see the ball. Everyone's exhausted.
I mean, that's
it's sloppy baseball.
You're not getting any athleticism out of the kids. You're waiting for someone to get hurt. You have tarp for a reason. The NCAA was willing to suspend the game, and the Arkansas coach was like, heck no, and he just basically outlasted them and won by one. So it forced them to go to a game 3 in their series, which happened last night, and I don't even know who won because honestly, no offense, don't care. I think that was ridiculous. But then you flip to the softball side of it. This game now this is the finals. They've already done Super Regional. This is everything. And who is it?
This is Florida and Oklahoma. And so it's a little bit of a home field advantage for OU because the Women's College World Series is in Oklahoma City.
And Bricktown.
Yes.
If you haven't been there, it's a great place.
It's awesome. It's fun. It's popping. It's growing. There's a lot of fun things going on down there.
And
a lot of it thanks to the Oklahoma City Thunder. But
good food there too.
It's a lot of good food, and it's a great time. And when there's something big going on, you want to be there.
But back to your point, OU's playing.
It's basically a home game. You know, Norman is
City.
15 minutes south of Oklahoma City.
Legitimately.
So it's a home game for OU. I watched this game, and basically what ended up happening, there's 2 outs left, bottom of the 7th inning, and OU was pitching to close out the game. And Florida had a runner on second, and then the batter herself, she pops one up into basically left center field. The OU center fielder and the left fielder basically miscommunicated on the ball, and they kind of mistimed catching it, so they almost run into each other. The left fielder dives and misses it. The girl that was on second for Florida runs home. So now it was 2-1. She tied it up. It's 2-2. The girl gets a double. And so then now it was tied up at 2-2. And then they're just going until finally Oklahoma outlasts Florida 5-3. But it just, to our point, 17 innings. You might as well call it a 6-hour game.
I mean,
so it was just, it kept going and going and going and going.
And that's what you call an error in baseball.
And that's what it was.
You miscommunicate, almost run into each other, and you both drop the ball. That's what you call an error.
Right.
But the point is, you've already had a 6-hour rain slop game for 6 hours.
Baseball.
At 3 in the morning. We're not talking about from noon to 6 p.m. We're talking about till 3 in the morning for baseball. And then you turn around and have not 13 innings, 14, 15, 16, 17 innings for a softball game.
It's a long time.
There has got to be, baseball and softball in general, they're having this issue on the MLB side. We talked about this with Jack Pauly last week. If you didn't catch that episode, you need to check it out.
It's on our YouTube channel. Definitely check that out. He gets some good insight there.
There has got to be something that makes these games able to be decided in a more competitive way.
They got to start figuring other things out.
Until just by attrition, people just, somebody falls out.
Yeah, even if you don't put the runner on second, maybe you'd put somebody on first at least, you know, to put some pressure on the pitcher or on the defense.
Or you know what? Make your outfielders come in and pitch. I don't know. Do a home run derby. You have to do something because this is ridiculous.
It's a lot.
And you know what gets me is the college. I've always found like college baseball and softball is the most competitive you get.
Oh yeah.
Nope. I'm not watching anything for 6 hours. No, not unless it's tennis.
Well, anyways, we're gonna talk about the OTA'S here really quickly as we're running out of time. OTA'S have been taking place in the NFL. Again, this is the 3rd week. You get 3 weeks. It's 3 days per week is what the NFL allows. It's no hitting. It's just no contact, but you get your helmets. You really get to work out the plays. Everyone that was drafted and on the team before, you get to work out and really get together. It's a good way to be together. But the big thing right now is that there are a lot of players on a lot of teams that aren't showing up for OTAs. Now, it's not the first time that this type of stuff happens, but
it seems more rampant this year.
Now it seems more of a storyline than it really has been in the last couple of years. it's really up to the ownership and to the team. If it's not a big deal, then it isn't a big deal. But to me, I would like to see everybody there for as long as they can. Odell Beckham Jr. has been in L.A. working out with Chris Carter. He should be in New York, but he's out there in L.A. Eric Berry here for the Chiefs has not been working out. I know he is working out, but he's not with the team currently. And so there's some other things that happened with Jeremy Maclin. He is no longer with the Chiefs. Oh, we have yet to find out what actually happened there, but as soon as we do, we will let you know. But OTA'S is in its final stages, and then we have mini camp, mandatory mini camp. So that will be fun, where everyone finally get to hit. You get to do more contact drills. You get to really start doing some live scrimmages.
Well, my last little thing on OTA'S is, yes, it's basically team bonding and a great way to stay in shape.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a Family Guy reference.
Yeah,
it's a great way to stay in shape. Yeah. So if the guys are staying in shape somewhere, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm up in the air about that.
If the team doesn't care, then it's not a big deal. But if it is a big deal to the team,
it's either got to be a big deal or not a big deal. And
exactly.
I think the NFL and the teams need to get together and decide that.
Yeah.
So, you maybe have to start penalizing people if they don't come. Because if you're not making a big deal, pretty soon no one's going to come but your rookies. And then OTA is just a glorified rookie camp.
It's true. Well, we will have much more on OTA'S and what's going to happen with minicamp. See what happens with the college softball and baseball. And we've got NHL and NBA to talk about. And we want to say we'll see you again, folks.